Welcome to the Work Your Money podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Wong.
I'm your co-host, Willie Morales.
Each week, we talk to people, either on the internet, through the phone, or in person.
We try to get the best business minds on this podcast.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe on iTunes, and please enjoy the show. Today, we're recording on Google Hangouts. We have a great guest. She's a real estate investor and author, Daniella Fairbairn. How are you, Daniella?
I'm great, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Thanks, Daniella,
Thank
for
you for
joining
having
us.
me.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Daniella, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I am Daniella Fairbairn. I am an author, a speaker, a customer solutions architect. So I do a little bit of everything, more or less, as you can tell based on my titles. So I have a book called Insanely Great Customer Service, where I help small business owners, entrepreneurs create one-of-a-kind experiences for their customers. That's something I do as a customer solutions architect. As a real estate investor, I have property in the Florida market. So I'm also a housing provider, and I'm a speaker in that I travel and talk about the importance of excellent customer service and making sure that people don't feel like numbers and actually remember the importance and the value in the little things in providing customer service.
That's awesome.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah, and you know what? Customer service is a very important factor. I think that most businesses forget that your customers are the foundation of your business. So you have to be personable with them. You have to relate to them. And you have to show that you have a one-to-one with them. There's people that belong to a company or they have a company, and for them is just, they only see it as what profit they can get from that particular individual, as to more building a relationship with that person. So, and that, I think that's very important, that you have to relate to the person that you're trying to build that foundation with.
It's really, really important, Michelle. It's just a little things. For instance, I recently went to a store. I really wanted to purchase a particular item. So I walk in, and when I walk in, no one says good morning. I'm like, okay, I see where this is headed. But I keep on going because I really wanted to buy something. So I walk and I see where I wanted to get was behind a locked display case. So I'm looking, I was able to narrow it down to two things. And I'm near the cashier, but I can tell when I get to the cashier where the display is, she's actually annoyed because she's reading a book. And while she's reading a book, she sees me drawing closer to her. And I stop to see what was in the display case, and I'll need her assistance. So, I guess I'm bothering her because I'm a customer. I need some goods. And so she puts on her book, and I can tell from her face that she wasn't in the mood, right? But how can you be not in the mood for customers, right? It's so crazy. Anyway, so I say to her, hi, I like your help. I'd like to get something behind the display case. So she says, what do you want? So I said, how are you? And she says, fine. And I said, you know what? It's okay. And I walk out. And Michelle and Willie, the reason why I walked out is because I realized that my money was not valued there, and I can be someplace else where I'm valued. So, to think about it, I come into your store, you don't want to say hello. I then say hello to you. You don't say hello back. You want to know what I want, as if I'm bothering you, as if you're annoyed by my business. So my whole thing is that you can't care enough to ask me how I'm doing. You can't care enough to even see if I need help getting what I need. It's okay, let me walk out. And I was really, really, really bothered by that, because I live in an area where people may not think it's okay to give excellent customer service because of the people who live in the area. But you have to also understand there's so many options out there. It's 2016. Why give your competition the leg up? Why have someone take your customer from you? You have to remember things like that. So when you're opening your store, when you're going through the things day to day, remember the reason you're a business is because you have customers. The more customers you have, the more money you have in your pocket. The less customers you have, the less money you have in your pocket. So look at it like that.
And I'm wondering how that owner of that place will feel about that if he found out. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't like that someone comes into the store and you have somebody behind the counter treating a customer like crap. That's BS. That's horrible. I mean, that's you should have left your book there so she could read it.
Slap my book on the counter. Exactly. This is why you need insanely great customer service. Exactly. Yeah.
Left it right there. I think you should carry copies with you.
Right.
In the future.
Here you go. Let him give me a call. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Good point, Willie. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, and it happens all too often. Yeah. Whether it be healthcare, whether it be in retail, whether it be in dining, this happens every single day. We can all recall negative experiences wherever we spend our money. And so a lot of times we're just like, oh, we will never go back and that's it. But that doesn't fix the problem. It then becomes a perpetual issue. It's an ongoing cycle. So what makes them treat the next person different if they actually address the issue? And how will they address the issue when you're actually able to let them know how you feel about the experience? So it's really, really important to actually spend your money where you want to, spend the money where you're appreciated.
No, that's absolutely true. And it's funny because years ago I worked in retail, and for me, I treated everybody the same, and I was always putting my best foot forward because those are people that are going to be repeated customers. And I truly do believe that if you are, if you give excellent customer service and you show that you care about the customer, they will keep coming back to you. And that for me, from my experience, I've seen that. I've had, customers that, because I used to work in jewelry department. So whenever they came in, they would say, hey, how are you doing? How's everything going and everything else? And then they'll keep coming back to me, and they're like, oh, I want to make a purchase on this, or I want to make a purchase on that. And the other thing that I've also noticed is that people have a tendency to make judgment calls. So they're kind of prejudiced by a person's appearance. That's another thing that I've seen in dealing in customer service. I've had coworkers where the customer would come in, they were looking to make a purchase, and they would look at them up and down and see the way that they're dressed. If they're dressed, in jeans, or, dressed a little bit more casual than normal, they would not approach them. They would just completely dismiss them and be oblivious to that they're there. And I think that's wrong, because you can't judge a person by their appearance, because those people are usually the ones that are making the big, the bigger purchases. And you have to treat everybody the same, and I've had issues where customers get shunned by another coworker. They come to me, I tell them, hey, how's it going? What is it that you need? And, give them the excellent customer service. And then they wind up making purchases. And then they said, I'm glad that I came to you and you don't try to, be prejudiced against me. And I said, you can't judge a book by its cover, because, a lot of people that have money are usually the ones that are dressed casual. So you can't go by that,
Of course. No, definitely. It reminds me of a time where I went last minute holiday shopping last year. I went to Macy's. We all know about Macy's. It was really crowded. The week of Christmas I went. So I waited to the last minute, as usual. So I get there.
Right.
Yes, I get there. I'm in the jewelry department. And, during the holidays, they tend to hire people just for the season. So I'm thinking this is probably not a regular staff member, but it's actually just someone for the season. So I say to her, oh, I'd like to take a look at what's right here in that display. So she says, I don't have the key. And that was it. So I'm just like, wait, hold on. You don't have the key? So this is in my head because I'm just like, I shake my head and I went to someone else who can possibly help me just because you not having the key doesn't mean that you can't speak to a coworker and say, hi, I don't have the key, but we have a customer who needs to get something right in that display case. It's that simple. I don't really think it needs to be complicated, So it's really odd that people take the extra step to go the extra mile to get the customer in the door. That's it.
Right.
Because I could have really just turned around and said, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll go someplace else. I'll go to Zales or I go down to um, someplace else for the jewelry. So,
And that's amazing that these people. I mean, somebody on the floor has to see that. Some supervisor or
mhm.
has to see that. I mean, Jesus. I
But
mean,
it's in the
yeah,
rush of the holiday season, Willie. So
yeah,
really, like your supervisor is probably just trying to make sure things just kind of like keeping afloat.
yeah.
So seeing that they may not catch, but it takes that person, that customer to bring it to someone's attention. But really and truly, a lot of times when we go through a difficult experience, we'll probably tell our friends more quickly than we'll tell a manager at that particular location that we're having an issue with that particular worker. I think it's just human nature. We really won't complain about necessarily to the managers, go and complain to our friends who will tell our other friends, and it's all about word of mouth, right?
Yeah,
So if
no,
I have a
exactly.
pleasant experience with you, I'm going to tell five of my friends about it. But if I have a negative experience with you, I'm going to tell 10 of my friends about it. And they'll tell their friends about it. It's just human nature. That's just
Right.
how we operate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Besides your book, you started investing in real estate. Was that this year that you started? Was
So I started that endeavor in 2015 in the
okay.
first quarter. And so I was looking outside of New York just because New York was very expensive, as we all know, living here.
Yes,
So
we've
I
heard
was
that
able
before.
to, exactly. So I was able to get a power team, boots on ground in Florida. And it's been happily ever after since then.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it a single family, multiplex?
Yep, it's a three bed, 2.5 bath, 2 car garage in Florida. Yes. I was able to find this power team who was able to help me locate my property, able to help me connect with a lender, able to help me rehab the property, able to help me find a tenant, which has been great. So I was able to get a tenant moving in 2 weeks following closing. So that was good.
Oh, that was fast. Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Having a power team really helps. Whenever you have a group of people who you can rely on in any field, it just makes sense. I'm all about experts. I'm all about paying someone for what they're worth. There's not enough time in the day. Me, for instance, looking here in New York market on my own, I knew how difficult it was. So finding a power team to save me over 300 hours in locating property, finding a tenant just made sense to me. And I was able to invest in that. So hands down, no brainer for me.
Oh, good for
Yeah.
you.
Did you have any issues with the money, or did you start with, with a budget? Like, how did you start that overall?
Okay. So when I started looking into real estate investing, I knew I had to build capital. So there were things I had to work on my personal end in order to save money up. So I was able to move back home, save up money, cut costs in terms of my expenses. I was
Mhm.
able to get a bookkeeper to help me reevaluate all of my spending and to know if I wanted to save X amount of money for real estate investing within a year, I had to make sure I was on this particular budget and spend this amount of money per month. So I was in a very strict budget. I also knew that my credit wasn't the greatest at the time. So I had to look at getting a credit partner, and I also was looking at getting a cash partner. So when you're in real estate, a lot of the times when you're starting out, you don't do it on your own. No one successful does it on their own. So you're able to partner with other people who have the resources available. So you're bringing different things in the pot, right? So I'm the one who's bringing a power team. I'm the one who has half the cash available, but I'm looking for someone who has excellent credit and the other half of the cash. So it was being creative in knowing how to find this particular person in order to move my business forward. So basically, to answer your question, through saving and through creative means and through networking is how I was able to get my real estate business off the ground.
Talk about the importance of networking and why is it important?
Normally, I'm someone who's very reserved. I don't really talk much to people. It takes me a while to open up. But I also realize a closed mouth won't get fed, right? So if you want to make sure that you're able to push your business to the next level, you have to be able to open up, talk about what you're looking for, so you can attract the right people in your circle. So it was me attending our monthly real estate investing association meetings. It's also going to other meetings where I'm meeting women, I'm meeting other investors, I'm meeting entrepreneurs. It's me starting my own group called Entrepreneurs Fired Up, where I was masterminding with a group of entrepreneurs in order to take their businesses to the next level. So it's all about talking. And people have different experiences. There are those who, in networking, have been burned by real estate. Their money was taken. They have very negative experiences, and that comes along with it. Real estate investing is a risk. It's something that isn't smooth sailing all the way, no. But if you have the right team in place, it makes it all the much easier. When you're able to connect with people who are like-minded, your business can go all the way. It's the same thing as, for instance, Michelle and Willie, if you were attending a particular meeting and say Michelle wasn't there, okay? But in this meeting, you were able to get great tips on real estate investing. Now, you go back to Michelle and say, Michelle, hey, all we need to do is just invest $10,000 in a particular program and we'll be able to get A, B, and C. She may look at you like, Willie, what are you talking about, right? What's really going on, Willie? She may question it just because she was not there to experience what you experienced. That goes to show you that, and Michelle may not question it as much just because she's worked along with you, she's your business partner, and that's different. But if you had someone in your circle who really wasn't a part of that process, that business mindset, they may not be willing to take that risk of investing the money in order for you both to reap those benefits. So you can't expect that everyone in your circle will understand where you're coming from. And that does not mean that you can't take your business to the next level. You have to be able to think about what's happening, seeing how other people live, how other people move in your network, and then you're able to see how to take your business further. In other words, millionaires don't hang out with broke people, okay? So millionaires hang out with millionaires. You have to have that mindset. If you want to be able to go to the next level, you have to be able to be with people who are able to open your mind and broaden your horizons. So networking is key with the right people. Don't think that every person you meet should be in your network. No, that's not the case. But you have to be able to go to events, meet different people, get their mindset, and see if their visions are aligned with yours. And then you're able to put them in your circle to take your business next level. So networking is important, but networking with a purpose is even more important.
What do you recall has been a pitfall, and what you recall were the highlights, this far with both businesses?
Okay.
She has to think. So everything is on the up and up. You go, girl.
No, let's see. I would say one of the most difficult moments I've had in business, period. So whether it be real estate or the customer service business, one of the most difficult things is getting your business off the ground is one of those difficult things. I would say it's one of those things where you're like, am I doing this for myself? Like, why is it that I have this great product, I have this great service, but no one knows about it? So it's frustrating when you're in the beginning stages and you're trying to get people to know who you are. You're trying to get people to realize the value in your worth. And that's one of the hardest things when it comes to business. So you know that you do great hair, for instance, you're a hairdresser. You open a salon and you're like, why is no one coming to the door? No one's coming to the door for a number of things. It may be because you're not promoting yourself, you're not marketing yourself, and that requires dollars. So a big part of your budget is marketing. That's one of the biggest things in any budget. So you can have a great product and great service, but if you don't have people know who you're about, it's like, what's the whole point, you know? So I want to say the early stages of both businesses was very difficult in trying to get myself out there. And I want to say, in terms of the highlights, it's having a satisfied customer. It's having people realize that, wow, like this makes sense. This actually makes a difference. So in real estate, it's having a tenant who's happy, a tenant who is looking for a home for their families and be able to provide that home for them. That's one of the beauties of real estate. In terms of my customer service business, one of the beauties is having a satisfied customer who realizes the importance, sees the effects of you working with their staff, working with them in order to see the bigger picture. So satisfied customers is one of the highlights. And I want to say one of the difficult moments is having people value what you do and understand who you are, and getting them to put their money out and trust you with their ideas.
Yeah,
Wow.
I totally agree with that. There was there was a particular person. She's well known in real estate. She has a great mindset, and she's always helping other people. And she thinks of other people, but she also feels undervalued because there's one or two people that show her that she's not as appreciated. And it's like, I sit here and I I see the remark, and I feel bad, because it's like, don't let one or two people bring you down, and let them, or allow you to feel that way. And when you're in a business, you have to show appreciation for the other person. You have to acknowledge the other person, and more importantly, you have to also compensate for what they do, because as great as the person can be, you also have to compensate. Not, like, services don't come for free. And that was just like one of the conversations that I had with her. I was like, I'm kind of floored that people do that. She's like, oh, you just don't know uh the people that I come across that just make me feel undervalued. And I don't know if it's, I don't know who this person is that was doing this to her, but it's just, I don't know if it's because she's a woman. I don't know if it's because of, that they are envious of her. I don't know what the situation is, but it's, for me to see that, and seeing that from someone that has more experience, that is, more of a public figure, um, outside, and see that, it's like, I can relate to that, and I'm just starting out, so, it's one of those things that, this type of business, you have to have appreciation for the things that other people do for you as well, you know.
No, yeah, I totally agree, Michelle. People forget that customers, not only people who are your patrons or supporting your business, customers are also people you work with. So there's an
Mhm,
internal customer and there is an external customer. So, for
mhm,
example, if you are um, working at a company, your internal customers are your colleagues, they're your coworkers. If you and your external customers are your clients,
mhm.
right? And so you have to be able to work with everyone, different personalities. I may not like you, but I have to respect you, right? And
Exactly.
so it's those kind words that really matter. It goes a long way. And so in giving insanely great customer service, there are 5 steps, and they're the 5 A's. There's awareness, there's authority, there's accessibility, there's atmosphere, and there's accountability. So with that particular person, it's an awareness. It's having her colleagues be made aware of who she is and what her role is, not taking her for granted. There's authority. There is her being the expert at what she does, so she has the authority in that right. There's accessibility. People think that because they have a business, they shouldn't be accessible. That's not the case. There needs to be a system in place to make sure that there are people who feel as if you are accessible or they're going through the proper trains. There's atmosphere. An environment can be so toxic. And when an
Mhm.
environment is that toxic, people don't want to be in it. And when they don't want to be in it, they don't perform. So that
Mhm.
person, Julie, may not perform at her best because she feels that she's in a toxic environment that doesn't support her and her dreams. So it's the atmosphere within that particular company. And lastly is accountability. If Julie were to tell her boss, I'm not really feeling as if I'm valued here, as if you don't know my worth, and her boss were not able to act upon that and to make her know that she is appreciated, that means she doesn't have accountability. And that's really, really important. So you want to make sure that whoever is on the other end of the complaint or the compliment is able to instill a protocol or implement a protocol rather to make sure that this is actually addressed in a timely fashion. So to lose someone like Judy in a company is not the way to go. As a manager in healthcare, I understand that. And I see that happen time and time again where there's someone who's busting their butt to make sure they're able to do the best job they can, but not being able to feel as if you're being valued by someone really makes it a negative experience. When you yourself go through something like that, you know how then to move forward from that. It's not until you understand, you feel it, that you're not able to relate to it. So with my staff, for instance, I constantly check in with them to make sure they're okay. You have conversations with them. You get to see who they are. It's more than that person sitting at the front desk. It's more than that person being a nurse. It's so much more than that. They have a family. They have dreams. How are you supporting their dreams? When was the last time that someone asked Judy what her dreams were? When was the last time that someone made her feel appreciated? And so you really have to think about these things when you're running a company, when your leadership role, just because you can't, everyone's in the business of customers, right? You need to have your doors open. You have to make sure you're able to make a profit. You're able to balance your books. In order to do that, you have to make sure that people are satisfied with your business. There's so many options out there. There's so many places you can go to get jewelry. There's so many places you can go to get the goods I wanted to get at that boutique recently. So, like you have to really be able to make someone feel appreciated because I'm going to you to buy from you. I can go anywhere else, but there's something that you do that makes me feel good. That when I interact with you, I'm like, whoa, like I feel really good. So I help people create those experiences. And so with Judy, I think her boss will be a great person for me to talk to, a potential client, someone I can talk to about what she's doing to create an environment where Judy doesn't feel as if she's appreciated. You really have to take a step back and you have to take a look at what's going wrong and see how it can be addressed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
um,
100%.
yeah, I like those 5 A's. Can you repeat the 5 A's again?
Sure. These are the 5 A's of insanely great customer service. There's awareness,
Mm-hmm.
authority, accessibility, atmosphere, and accountability. So I help local businesses create a profitable brand through insanely great customer service. And through that 5-point formula, you're then able to execute insanely great customer service, whether it be with your internal customer or your external customer.
I like that. Yeah, that's I'm gonna have to get your book. And
Please
on that
do.
note, yeah, I'm gonna have to get that book.
Willie, we need to meet in Brooklyn soon.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So Daniela,
Mhm,
what besides your book,
mhm.
what is it? It's called Insanely Great Customer Service.
Yep, and it's available on Amazon. It's also available on audiobooks. There's an audio
Okay.
version. There's also an electronic version that you can purchase as well. So my book is
Okay.
$12.99 on Amazon, and
Plug,
the
plug,
it's
plug away, my dear.
plug
Plug
away,
away.
plug away. Yes, 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 yes.
Um, what else are you reading at the moment, or what books you recommend on entrepreneurship
mm.
or real estate
Mhm.
or any other topic you might think of?
I'm reading a book right now called Icon by David Fagan, and it's showing the importance of how you're able to become an icon. What can you do to be that it person? Someone should be able to, everyone in their household, like Beyonce is a household name. Hands down, everyone knows who Beyonce is, right? Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows who Kim Kardashian is. Boom. Like those are just household names. So how would someone be able to say, okay, well, Daniella Fairbairn, boom, customer service, that's who comes to mind, right? So how you become an icon within your particular industry. And so you have to make sure that you have the foundation in place to do so. David Fagan is an excellent speaker. He's able to take businesses to the next level, and that's what I'm reading right now. Icon by David Fagan.
How you spell his last name?
F as in Frank, A-G-A-N as in Nancy.
Okay. All right, good. Anything else?
That's what I'm reading presently. I read a few books recently, but that one comes to mind right away because I'm in the midst of reading it right now.
Okay, great.
So Daniella, for our listeners, where can they find you? Through email, through social media, through website? Where can they find you?
Yep, they can find me through my website, DanielaFairbairn.com. That's D as in David, A, N as in Nancy, I-E-L-L-A, Fairbairn, F as in Frank, A-I-R, B as in boy, A-I-R-N as in Nancy.com. That's my website. They can also find me on social media, Daniella Fairbairn on Twitter, Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn. And through my book, which is available on Amazon. And I also have an audio version on audiobooks. And I have an electronic version as well.
Good. That's good. Good to know.
And where can people find us, Willie?
Oh, it's my turn. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Well, after this great show, especially with Daniella, please go to iTunes, find us on Work Your Money, give us 5 stars. You got to give Daniella her props. I mean, this is I know they have a Renaissance man, so we have a Renaissance woman here with us. So please go to iTunes, give us a great review. Also, you can find us on Facebook.com/Work Your Money. And also you can find us on Patreon.com, where we could use a little help in donations to keep the show going and to help everybody out, give great content like we do usually, and our guests. So find us on Patreon.com.
Awesome. So there you have it, guys. We have Daniella Fairbairn. She is author, real estate investor. She has her customer service company, a true entrepreneur, and you do a 9-to-5, girl. Let me tell you that's a full plate, but a lot of respect for you because you're doing it. You're going out there. You're getting your name out there, and I am really excited to see what else is in store for you in the future. I'm gonna keep looking to see what else you have going.
Well, thank you very much, Michelle. It was a pleasure talking to you both. And I'll be sure,
Thank
Michelle,
you.
next Thanksgiving to make sure that you are on speed dial, okay?
Definitely. Definitely sounds like a plan. And we definitely would love to have you back. And for all of you out there, for the Work Your Money podcast, I bid everybody a good evening and bye.
Bye.